Master horse racing with daily racing forms Formulator, now free for DRF Bets members. Sign up to get the best bonus in racing with a $250 deposit match, plus a $10 free bet and free Formulator past performances. Go to drf.com/bet to play like a pro today.
Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer at Pimlico. We're creeping ever so closer to the Preakness Stakes, race number 12 on Saturdays for 3-year-olds, but on the turf going a mile. It's the $100,000 James W. Murphy. Click or scan the QR code because DRFTV for the Preakness now available on DRF.com. Here's the field for the James W. Murphy, Mike. I think it's a pretty evenly matched group. The number 9 Najarok's going to take a lot of money. This horse was a graded stakes winner at 2 sprinting. Just missed last time out in the Transylvania. He gets blinkers for the first time. Grand Motion has great numbers adding blinkers.
Yeah, I think we have a clear horse to beat in this race in the number 9 Najarok. You can question, how good he's ultimately going to turn out to be, but this horse has credentials leading into this race, and just about everybody else in here, they've got a lot to prove.
He's got some tactical speed as well, and I think there's a possibility that this pace will heat up. We throw up the Timeform US pace projector. Fantastic again, he's got to be going from the inside post. A Western Yarn, that horse has shown speed. Top Recruit, if he can transfer his dirt form to turf, will be close as well.
Yeah, Timeform US thinks this pace is going to be fast. I don't think I'll argue too hard with it. Top Recruit could certainly bring his speed over to the turf course here, and if he does, maybe he makes the front, and if he handles the turf, maybe he's pretty tough to run down in here, Dad. I don't think it's a terrible spot to try it. I just wonder how good he is.
First time Lasix for the number 1. Fantastic again, going out for Wesley Ward. This horse did very well over the winter at Turfway Park, going gate to wire in a stake 2 starts back. I think the 9 furlongs a little bit too far. I think 2 fills a little bit too tough last time out, but he ran fine in the Jeff Ruby. I like him cutting back.
Yeah, I don't mind him cutting back for this race either, and he did run fine all in all in that most recent start. The real thing that you have to concern yourself with as far as Fantastic again goes is both of those wins when they switched him over to the all-weather. Trips don't come any softer than those. He got absolutely loose, no pressure, did not have to go fast, and had plenty left through the stretch. This pace is supposed to be faster, Dan, and it's not like he's a proven horse on the grass.
Number 2, Fade the Noise, has some angles. First time Lasix for Michael Maker, and you always got to respect Maker when he makes a distance switch. And this horse is stretching all the way out after 1 race already this year. Now, the line doesn't look good. I don't think it tells the whole story.
I mean, I don't think it does either. He just didn't break at all in that race. He wound up way out of contention up the back. He actually made a little run around the turn to catch up, but he was never going to be competitive in there after the start. I wouldn't be too hard on him for that race. Obviously, the obstacles are pretty large here, stretching out second off the layoff. This horse, though, has run 4 times. He's had exactly 1 clean trip in his life. And when he got the clean trip first time on turf, he whistled.
You really like that race at Ellis Park. And that's a very underrated maiden program they have there for turf horses. A Western Yarn is the number 3. This horse showed speed last time out at Tampa Bay. Made the front, legitimate pace, got tired at the end. I think he has to take a little bit of a step forward, but I really do respect Arnaud Delacour. The problem is there's other speed in here.
Yeah, that was my issue with him as well. And I do think he also has to improve again if he's going to win this race, but maybe he'll get the right trip in here, Dan. He did, in his defense, he faced a really good field last time at Tampa.
4 is Top Recruit. This one's going to be trying turf for the first time with Maker. When we talk about Maker and respecting Maker with distance switches, also surface switches. Top Recruit doesn't have a ton of turf pedigree, although I love the midshipmans on the grass. There is a lot of stamina on the bottom side of this pedigree. The Dam's a half, the Breeders' Cup Marathon winner, a fleet again. So I'm not too worried about him stretching out. I think he has some tactical speed, and he's coming off a layoff, but he has been working steadily since early March.
Yeah, he's just a real wild card here. I personally didn't really know what to do with him. Like you, I really liked the midshipmans on the turf, so I'm happy to see them try it here and see what happens. I just didn't see enough pedigree on the bottom, and I do think he has to improve to win this race.
Both route tries on dirt came over sloppy tracks. I don't think it's a true indicator of his ability going long. I think he'll do it on turf. The 5 is Circling the Drain, another horse trying turf for the first time. Now this horse has some turf pedigree on the bottom. The Dam was a really good horse on grass.
Yeah, he's not by a noted turf sire, though, in West Coast, so that's a little bit of a drawback for him. And while his dirt form overall is pretty good, he's won twice on the dirt. He was 1-5 both times.
Yeah, and he's going to have to step it up against better horses here. Moonstrike is the number 6. This horse ran at Keeneland last time out, a 1-mile allowance race, and he had a little bit of trouble in that race. I think you can make an excuse, and it was only his turf debut. That being said, he's a reformed maiden claimer that has to prove himself against stakes company.
It'll be interesting to see what he does in here. If nothing else, I thought he was maybe one of the more interesting long shots if you were looking to go that way in here. The turf debut last time, that was a race at Keeneland that had a lot of trips going on. but this horse certainly had one of the trips there. I mean, he was definitely going to be way closer at the end with a clean run. Corey Lanerie was doing the right thing. He's riding a 50-to-1 shot. He tried to save ground. It blew up in his face.
Kingfish Stevens was a winner in his turf debut 3 starts back. That was at Gulfstream going 7.5. They got him back on the turf last time out in this race. It's a starter allowance at Aqueduct. He ran fine, and the figure not too far off some of the top contenders.
Yeah, I think if nothing else, they finally found this horse's surface. They've run him twice on turf. They're the 2 best races that he's run by far. I can't say that I love the horse that beat him last time, but that Sells Something did come back and run well again in his next start.
I think the 8 Wonderful Justice has a ton of upside potential. He won his first 2 starts going long at the fairgrounds. I liked his win in the Black Gold. Maybe it wasn't the strongest field, but that horse on the lead took him a long way, and he was pretty game to run him down. Another horse that had a trip last time.
I liked how game he was in both of his wins down at the fairgrounds. He really fought for it and got the job done both times, and you're right, he's coming out of that same race that Najarok was in. This horse did not get a particularly good trip in that race.
And here's Najarok, the horse to beat. 6 starts. He's hit the board every time. He's a graded stakes winner. He was 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, and he just got wired here in the Transylvania last time out. His seasonal debut, he ran just fine. He finished ahead of a couple of next out winners. That Web Slinger came back to win the American Turf at Churchill 2 weeks ago. He's got tactical speed. He's going to take a lot of money in this race. I've always worried about distance.
Me too. Listen, he's supposed to take a lot of money in this race. He's way the horse to beat in here, but the way that you put it when talking about his Transylvania, Dan, is exactly how I look at him. He ran fine in there. Do I want a really short price on this horse in this race? I personally don't, but I'm not going to be surprised when he wins.
We're going to go for some prices in here while we do respect the favorite. Who are you going with?
I'm going to take the maker horse drawn down towards the inside, the number 2, Fade the Noise. Again, I know that there are things working against him. I hope he gets a clean trip in this race, because the one time he got one leading up to this, he ran really, really well.
I'm taking the maker horse trying turf for the first time, the 4 Top Recruit. Usually not my kind of horses in these tough stakes races, but I like this horse's tactical speed. It'll be a price, and I certainly respect these connections. It'll be a nice edition of the James W. Murphy as we get ready for the Preakness.